All right, let's get into the altered ego, King James 500-year contract, and that gayness, that queer, that strange. Let's put all this stuff in a little spectrum for us to understand, because the Ancient One is standing before y'all, and y'all don't even know it. And those days of Daniel's vision are closing in on you, and Daniel connects you to the ET, the illegal aliens, and then you got the aliens and all these other things going on in our world. And we're going into that time of the Jesus, and that God of the light and Israel and all those things that we're told of going back into the garden. But as we're going back into the garden, there's another section of the world that's going to go free, because the other spectrum is going to go bond, and bonding is already there. And we're shown things in our world as we have Halloween and we have Christmas. We have one, you can do all things. You don't even have to be yourself. You can dress up. You can be your altered ego. And that altar has been placed before you as an image has been given life of the naughty and nice that Santa brings. You're coal for the fire and that mantle. And that mantle is being stoked up. And you're going to be thrown into the hell of fire upon the earth. And that fire is already set out as you're going to be thrown into the Tower of Babel. So the strange times, the darkness upon the earth, the change in society, all these things are now. And you're going to a whole new age of man. And as we are seeing where man came from, it's being taken from man also in one spectrum, but being given back to man in another to bring in a new projection. And this is working through the Satan and the Jesus spirit within all men, because Jesus is the light of truth and grace and justice. And our nation teaches eye for an eye. So this is where they're going to come back, the eye for the eye. And the eye is already set, and it just has to turn on and blink. And it's already kind of doing that altered state when you're starting to roll and shit, and it's blinking or whatever. And it's linking up those chains as the blocks are chaining up for those bricks to be laid out when you hit that Oz. And that Oz Impic is before you. And the dark side of the moon is laid out for that solar system as you're reflecting the Lord God. Psalm 84:11, the sun. And that's where God rested on day 6. And that 66 is before you as his 7s are all lit up to bring in a new light as you're going into the cave and into the darkness. And you're not going to be used to this, and you're going in the nightclub with the purple lights and the neon lights and the laser lights and all this shit, okay? And the smoke, that contact high. So this King James, the jam, going into that jar, that Jerusalem, jar you seal them. That's where you're in your old playing your own pickleball and you're doing your own deals, and that old Texas Hold'em game. And Trump with the pitcher of water has been showing you with that cryptocurrency. And that's where these flawed waters and those judgments are all going to play out. And those ments are going to be playing out with the prophets as well. They laid it out, but it's going to be hitting spiritually, but maybe in a shift-shaped pattern as these things filter through the light. But it's only meant to bring up those who have the consciousness of a certain level of those that can see and hear. Because if it was possible, they use the light of Jesus to where you cannot see and you cannot hear. And we hear this today fully, loud and clear, as the church speaks. As church goes through your hospitals, through your religious segments, through your gyms, and that bridegroom situation in that gym is all going to be coming with that sauna. And that sauna with Elon Musk, he's got that, he's going to shove it up your little ass on the backside of the donkey for the anus. That sweat for that flux, and that efflux, the Lex Luthor. Woe to the women who give suck in those days. I told y'all way back when, did the little video, telling you might want to start asking people if they've had the shot. Okay? Anyways, the projection has been shown to you, and we don't even need these things, like connecting this thing with the alien and the parasite and all this kinds of stuff with the mothership and the Mother Earth, and Earth is a conscious being and it's raising up and taking down and all these things in different ways through these frequencies and patterns and ley lines of the Earth or whatever. So as it's doing this, it's controlled within a controlled mechanism, just like we see today with these corporations and the government and all these other things, and then where one knows the other, and that's where you look in a program and certain lines don't touch certain lines and whatever, and that's where these things have filtered through us, and the ergot, and those types of things on that wheat, for the wheat and tears and tears and such, for the tears and the flood waters and all these things connecting or whatever. But once you understand the brain is a computer, and they've given us chemicals here, there, and wherever, is where, as far as the white coats and over-the-counters and the dark markets. Okay, so all those things are working in our brain. And some of those, and the harder substances like the LSD, that is going to make it to where you can taste what you hear, see, smell. Make it to where you hear what you touch, taste, feel, whatever. Okay, it opens up everything. So while it opens up everything, this is where we've had to go in and out, and we've had to go and cleanse ourselves in certain ways, the way I see it. But as these things has worked, it's where I heard the trumpet sounding along with for years, and then I heard the world shut down and all those things that I've told you in the past, along with my life and the things that I've seen and and the knowledge that I've gathered through that truth movement as that millennium has opened up, and we had to live through that truth and grace and all those other things, because the program in the brain has basically made it to where when I heard this, it triggered that, triggered this, blah 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 blah. So it's where I'm tasting what I'm hearing, or hearing and feeling. I'm hearing what I'm feeling, and all those other things that I've been seeking after since I was told these things as a child in the church. So we're here, folks. The program, the second day on that God resting to the sixth day is before us, and when God rested, and that seventh day when the Lord God came in, and the worship under the Amun-Ra, and that light, the AI, and all those things are all before us, and we can see it in a time spectrum now as we're going from one to the other, and we look back as well. Okay, so understanding that once we get to this 48, the second day, and we're on that now as the clock is striking in the second coming of the dawn. In the 5th year, the 2-5, we're already in a negative space looking back on the clock, okay? And the 79th day on Trump being 79 is on its way, and the 97th day connects us to a 1999 clock, and I will post those, but all these things are coming together for your 24 hours wrap up in 25, because your last hour carries over, so that's where we're at now. Yeah, we're right here, folks.